so I'm just going to pass it over to him.
Wow, that was a warm welcome. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing all right, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm incredible. Anyone know what's in the box? Does anybody want to take a shot? You? You want to take a shot? What's in the box?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Exactly. We never know. But you know, at a young age, this is what changed my life right here, was my mentor, he had a box in front of me. And he said, you can have whatever you want inside here. And at first I said, man, this is a brown box. There's nothing in here, right? But he said, you're just too busy doing this. You're just too busy trying to punch at it, right? I was always trying to find out what is inside, what I want. Eventually, one day, you know, I just kept punching. I make a pretty good dent, right? I promise you guys, I didn't take karate. But eventually I found out a way to open the box. And he always asked me, well, what is it that you wanted? And I didn't know, but at first, it took me some time to realize that what I really wanted was, man, I just wanted to succeed in life. See, the hardest thing was, I was maybe only, not probably further younger than you guys, like I probably assume like sophomore, freshman here, right? 14, 15. See, I was in that same kind of bucket too, where when I came to school, man, I was already diverse. I was the only minority in my class. I was the only person in my school really where it was a struggle to come up, because I always thought that all my predicaments grew beforehand didn't allow me to ever become successful in life. See, I grew up with a very abusive father, and my father never was the guy to give compliments. He always had a temper, always was just not the nicest guy, period. My mom worked long, late hours, so I never saw her really. And I always use these as a list of excuses, reasons why I couldn't do well in life. And I've been holding on to these since I was a little boy, because I grew up in California, right? I grew up at Vacaville. If you guys know where that is, that's the Bay Area. And I grew up out that way because I was just like, sure. And then my mom said, all right, well, we're heading to Vancouver. I was like, where? Canada? No, right here, right? And I got and when we ended up here, it was like, whoa, it's different. Nobody here was wearing a White Sox hat. No one here was wearing an LA hat. No one, I just knew. My culture changed dramatically. What was my response? I acted negatively against it. I was mad at everybody. And man, for almost about 14 years, I kept using the same excuses. You know, my father's abusive, right? I'm broke. I'm a minority. And I would pull every excuse I could find in the book. And then one day, I met my first mentor, and this changed my life. His name was Barry Aloysius Brown. He was my next door neighbor, old dude. That's why I called him old dude. But what I didn't know about Barry was that he was successful actually. He was successful in what he did in his career. He was in the military. He opened up his own business. He published his own book. I didn't know that my neighbor was, you know, quite frank to say he was loaded. He was cool. Right? He was the guy. He was the guy that had everything that I kind of was wanting, and I didn't even know it yet. But at the time, I kept saying, well, here's my list of reasons why I can't do well. And he said, Deontae, why do you say that to yourself? Why do you keep telling yourself that you can't be successful? Why do you keep telling yourself that you can't grow? Why are you telling yourself that you will always be stuck right here with where you're at? And I said, well, I took a nice big stretch, you know, cracked my neck a little bit, and I said, here's my list of reasons, you know, my mom, my dad, right? I just pulled out every book I pulled out everything I could. And he said, he took a minute. No, really, he took a minute. He said, you ain't on it though. He said, the reason why you're not doing well is because you're not on there. See, and up until that point, I always thought it was every other thing else. I thought it was all the things around me that happened that I couldn't, you know, be able to go further. And he says, and what I didn't know about Mr. Brown is that Barry Brown grew out of Chicago. He grew out of the South Side, and I can't go into too much detail what happened, but in the South Side of Chicago, he questioned his life every single night. Like essentially from boyhood all the way up. Luckily, he said he got out. He found his way out. He said, how does someone like that, how do I come up from such a rough upbringing? I'm here today, and I'm here to share you with, man, how I'm here to be successful, right? He said, how can I share this with you, and you're going to sit over here, tell me about all these lists of reasons why you can't do well? It was like that. No, for really. How silent it was there for a second? It was dead silent. That's exactly what was my response. I didn't have anything to say. See, because there was this one word that I struggled with for a long time. I don't want anybody to say it in here, but I used to say, I can't. It's nasty. It's a nasty word. Don't ever say I can't. Because I used to say I can't, and that's what always held me back. But when he took away that hyphen T, it turned into I can. Everybody say I can. Okay. Hold on, this is supposed to be Skyview Storm. Storms make a lot of noise. Let's retry that one. I took away the hyphen T. I started to say I can. Everybody say I can. That's a little better. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. There we go. But I started to say I can. Because before, I had this belief that I couldn't do anything. I had this belief that I couldn't grow out more than what I was. I was determined in school. I was basically told in school that, man, you're not going to be anywhere. You're probably better off dead or in a home. And when in a home, what that meant in a really good slang term, meant that essentially I was going to be in prison for the rest of my life. That's what I was told. And that's what I believed. I just said, well, there's no point in me showing up, right? My grades look something like this. F, 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 D, F. Now, don't get mixed up. That one D, that was just because of the start of my name, right? Deontae, see, it was the D, only that. It was only the D, only D I had in my report card. But once I started, okay, no, all right, I can do it, right? I can, is this thing. I can do it, finally. It's about time. It started to be, now, what do I got to do, right? My first goal, and this was a goal that I didn't even know I wanted, was I wanted to be the first person to graduate in my family. I had no desire for it beforehand. I didn't even think it was possible because my mom dropped out, my brother dropped out, and he's a very successful guy today, but he dropped out and got his GED, so he kind of went back, but he didn't get to do the whole cap and gown thing, right? I had no idea. I didn't even know it was possible to get that. And I just said, well, why not me? I'm going to be the first person in my family to do it. That's what I did. You know, it wasn't easy. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, nothing in what you want in life is going to be ever easy at all. It's not going to be easy at all. You're going to deal with so much obscurity. Like my biggest problem was I was obscure. I couldn't connect with people. Literally, I could not hold a physical conversation with you, with her, with you. I wouldn't be able to hold a conversation with anybody because my first thought in my brain was put up the dukes. Like that's what I was always used to. I was used to that because of my upbringing, because I always had to watch out how my dad was going to swing at me that night. I had to watch out, but when I started to break that paradigm, right? Just think of it like this, it was chains on me, man. I broke out of them chains. I became unchained. I started to go after these things that were coming, that seemed far out in reach, right? The word impossible treated nothing more as a motivator for what can be. Everybody says it's impossible, right? Everybody always says it's impossible to fly. Who here can fly a plane? Okay, why didn't nobody? Oh, you can? See, she's the only person that raised her hand. How come no one else raised their hand? The truth is you can fly a plane. No, I'm true. You can fly a plane. I can fly a plane. We all technically here can fly a plane, but nobody raised their hand. I didn't ask how many of you knew how to fly a plane. I asked, can you? Because you can. We all can go get the knowledge, right? We can all go see what it's going to take. We can all get around a mentor. And later in life, that's what I kept doing, is I kept getting around. I didn't know after graduation, man, that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I did some things that made me grow successfully. And guys, just so you know, I'm not that much older than any of you here. I'm only 24. That's it. I'm not that much different. I just had a desire at a young age that I was going to succeed in anything I did in life. Anything I'm going to do, I was going to be the best at it. But now I want to share with you guys some principles. You know, I call these my 5 principles that made me successful. Is it okay if I share with you guys those principles? Is that okay with y'all? Everybody? Okay, because I'm going to tell you what, you apply these principles in anything you do. You want to apply it in your jobs, that you want to go get in. You want to go apply it in to get into school. You want to apply it in anything you want to do outside of here, even after you graduate. If it's just to graduate, man, you could apply this now. It's going to guarantee you'll graduate. But you got to do these 5 things. And I do them every day, still till this day, and they make me very successful. The first thing I do is I read. Ugh. Right? Not the fun thing to do. I know some of us probably right now we're reading The Great Gatsby, right? Or, no, wait, probably Of Mice and Men, that's what we're probably reading right now, right? Right? I knew it. I called it. I was there too. I had to read that book, every page I didn't want to read, right? But I'm not talking about reading those kind of books. I'm talking about reading the books that you want to go be successful in, right? Identify what it is. If you want to go be a doctor, go start reading books about how to be a successful doctor, how to be really good, right? It's going to take some time. It's going to take some more further education. But at least you're going to know, wow, I need to read these books to do it. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I actually had a very first book that blessed me forever. And I was probably no older than anybody here. I read this book. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It was a book that I actually still live by till this day. You go ahead, pass it around with you, my man. But it's a book that I still read till this day. I put it in practice. Because everything I read, I don't just say, oh man, it was just a good book. No, I pick it up and I'm like, wow, there's some knowledge in here, right? That was the first thing that surprised me. Like, wow, books actually could teach things. Surprising. The second thing I had was an attitude, right? I'm not talking about having a tude with you. I'm talking about having an attitude. Have a winning attitude towards what you want to do, right? In anything. Like, I'll give you guys an example here. I was driving here on my way here, right? I had a dude cut me off. Some of you guys aren't in driving school yet, so I'll teach you what cutting someone off means. I'm on a highway. I'm driving. He comes up, drives next to me, comes right in front of me. The old past me wanted to say a bunch of negative things, man. I just wanted to have this. I was like, oh, he don't know. I'm about to speed up. I'm about to get mine, right? I'm going to get him. That was my old thinking. My new way of thinking is like, my God, that was a scary situation, but I hope he gets to his destination safely. I hope you know what? Because at the end of the day, I don't know what he's going through. Maybe his wife's in the back. Maybe she's going into labor. Maybe somebody needs to rush and get to a destination that they don't know. Luckily, I was on time, so I planned my time accordingly, right? So an attitude. Number 3, association. Associate with people who you want to be around. Associate people who you want to level up with, right? Because even right here in this kind of room, honestly, I love that this room is even a thing because I wish a room like this was available to me at a young age. I had to go through the school of hard knocks, which means I had to go look for my own mentors. I had to go look for all these other tools and resources. And you guys get this right here. It's the golden goose for y'all. You guys can do anything in this room right here. And I'm telling you what, you even get your classmates, you get your peers open up to this. You guys can do whatever it takes, and you guys are going to be able to go to the next level, right? So association. Number 4, mentor. I love that we even have some mentors in this room. Can we all give those mentors a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because it's wonderful to be able to have mentors in your life. The only way I'm at where I'm at today is because my mentor, Barry Brown, when I was young, and then my mentor currently today, Jackson Felt, and he's teaching me still critical life things I don't know about. Why? Because I still know there's always room to grow. I'm never going to arrive. And a mentor is always going to help you see things you can't see, right? You might be like, how many of y'all play sports in here? Anybody play sports? You play sports? What's your sport?
Football.
Football? Okay, what's your position?
Wide receiver.
Come on, let's go. This guy's the reason why we're going to win championships here at Skyview. Come on, right? But he won't know he's going to be good at if he's doing his position right unless he has a coach, unless he has a mentor to saying, hey, now you're running the play, you're running it right? But I need you to do it more like this. I need you to angle your hands more like this and be able to come at it. I need you to be able to, oh man, I'm going to break my back if I do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, but your coach will tell you. But that's the purpose of having a coach, someone who can tell it. And number 5, this one's going to sound corny. It's going to sound a little cheesy. This one's manifesting. How many of y'all got a journal in your backpack? Anybody? Nobody's got a journal? Okay, you got a journal. Way to go. See? Props. See, in my journal, every day, I always write down at least 5 goals. 5 goals. It could be for this month. It could be for this week. It could be for this day. It could be for the year. But I always put down 5 goals that I'm going to do, and I always make it come to fruition. Here's how spooky scary it is, right? I wrote this goal way back in 2017. I was probably only 19 at the time. I was broke. Man, it was a struggle for my first year in entrepreneurship. But here's what happened. Was I wrote down that I wanted to own this car. It was a Lexus, right? How weird is it that the other day I was at the Lexus dealership. I finally purchased the vehicle, right? About time. I was there. I got the vehicle. It was weird that when I was putting all my stuff over, my book fell out of my backpack that I actually carried here, and it fell out, and it was one of my goals, and I opened up back the page way back then, when 2017, it said, I, Deontae, will own a Lexus. It was weird, man. It was something out of this world. But honestly, my biggest hope for anybody here in this room is I wasn't here to motivate you. That if anything, allow me to be the living proof that you guys, if you go out and apply these principles, you go out and you just apply yourself just a little bit, you can have whatever it is you want right now. Even if it seems far out of reach, even if people told you can't, you can right now. Everybody say, I can again.
I can.
Okay, we're going to work on this one until we get it right. Come on. Let everybody else hear you. You guys can be loud. Assembly. We're assembly mode, right? Right? Come on. Shake it out. Shake it out. Everybody get up. 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 Come on. Up, 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 up. Come on. This is no games. No games. I'm going to say it with you too, and it's going to be best. Right? Right? Ready? Everybody say, I can.
I can.
One more time. I can.
I can.
One more time.
I can.
All right, now everybody sit back down. You have that powerful word in your tool belt now that you can do whatever you want. You have mentors in this room that you can utilize. Pick their brains. Ask them, man, what do I got to do? I'm here right now, but I'm trying to get here. What do you know? If they don't know, guess what? They got a mentor in their back pocket. They got to pull out, and their mentor's going to know. Somebody's got the information you want for whatever you want to be successful at. And allow me to just tell you today that if I could be the living proof for you guys, if I could do it, anybody in this room, and I mean anybody, even the mentors themselves, they could do it. Thank you guys very much.